Hi, Neena ji. So glad to have you with us today.
Hello, hello.
I was reading your book.
Yes. Oh,
I started off reading thinking ki I'll speed read it because I have to do this interview. But once I started, I could not stop. I had to go through every page because it was so engrossingly written. And
I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Because I was all very nervous how people will like it or not. They'll get bored. I'm so happy you liked it and you read it.
okay. Now, I want to start off by asking you about your decision to write the book, which you have written about, of course, and why you kept certain names as blind items. Was it in the book you have written because you wanted to keep them unidentified because they have families, etc., and etc. But at the launch, you also spoke about how your lawyer advised you that perhaps it's safer to keep some names, unknown.
Yeah, both are right. I didn't want to name some people not to hurt their families because I feel for any child, their parents are gods. They can never go wrong. They can never do anything wrong. Okay. The second is right because the lawyers at Penguin, they have their proper lawyer who know their job, and they advised me either I have to take a consent, send them the chapter, take a consent, or I have to change the names. Because he said ki anybody can be provoked and sue you. Although I have not written I'm not maligning anybody, I've not written anything nasty or anything, but you never know. So your book will get stopped. So what's the point? So naming them was not very important, although it takes away the texture, so it was not important, but I would have taken the names, but then they know the best. So I agreed with them, and I had to change the names. Few names I have kept because, like, I called up Satish Kaushik, I called up Deepak Kaze. I said, "Bhaiya, तुमको chapter भेज दूं consent के लिए." So they said, "Pagal hai Nancy." Kaushik calls me Nancy. Arey yaar, tu kuch bhi likh. There is no need. So they are my friends. They trust me so much. They didn't want to see it also,
Okay.
So there are people like that, and like my ex-husband also, he was very sweet about it. So I have taken his name. But certain people I couldn't have asked for the consent also because I was not writing very nice things about them. So.
Okay. From your book, it's evident that your mother had a huge influence on you. Some of her advice you took, some of her advice you didn't, but you looked up to her. Were there things that you borrowed from your relationship with your mother and practiced in your relationship with Masaba? Sometimes while growing up, with parents, you think, oh, I won't do this with my child, or I will treat my child this way differently. So were there things you borrowed from there?
I did, maybe not very consciously, but somewhere back of my mind, I had it there. Like, my mother was over strict, so I didn't want to be like that with my daughter. Although if you ask her, she will say, no, you are very strict. But I used to ask my friends who had similar age group daughters, अच्छा कितने बजे रात को बोलूं उतने बजे के बाद नहीं आना, because I didn't know. So I used to ask them, what do you tell your daughters? And my friends and all helped me a lot because my daughter was their daughter's friend and things like that. And then there are certain things, or like being honest to yourself, which my mother was. And I think Masaba is also quite honest that way. And there must be little things, like not using chemicals. My mother was very desi, like she used to wear khadi, and she never wore any jewelry or anything. But whatever she wore was very stylish, but not loud. if she wore a sari. So Masaba's also got some things from her to me to her. But there are a lot of good things she has inherited. It's like she's very trustworthy. She's very good. Masaba is very good with the staff.
Okay.
It's a very important thing for me. Very good with the staff. Not rude. So there are some many things. आ गए होगा जी उधर से उधर. But yeah, there must be. Yeah.
Okay. Neena ji, you've written about playing Lallu Ladki in Saath Saath and how that sort of was a turning point in your career and that you unfortunately got typecast after that film. But do you feel that if you probably hadn't taken that role, your career would have panned out differently?
Yeah, I feel so. I feel that I should have waited for another kind of part to play. Then I would be somewhere else. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. But, at that stage, you've written that you were hanging patiently around filmmakers like Basu Bhattacharya and Shyam Benegal. There was no strategy in place. How do I get a break into the industry? Right. Because there is no set rules on how to do it, unlike becoming a doctor or an engineer.
Yeah.
But when you see the industry now, how newcomers are going about it, do you sometimes feel that if you had a chance that you would do things differently, approach things differently?
Of course. I would like how people get there. Now the social media plays an important part also. Now there's some nice casting agents also there. And there is more platforms now. When I came in here, there was only films. It was not even satellite TV. That also came much later. So there was nothing, and the big commercial producers will not meet us only. So we get portfolio done also expensive. I didn't have that kind of money to get a proper portfolio done. Then how to go, whom to ask. Then a very important point which I have put in my book also, that I was too shy. I thought कि push नहीं करना चाहिए, बार-बार phone नहीं करना चाहिए. It might boomerang because they will say, oh, पीछे पड़ गई, hटाओ इसको, that kind of thing. But then later I realized that people do that. When I read about Anupam Kher getting Saransh and so many other people, how they pushed, they kept at it and they got it. I didn't do that.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask, because you've written especially about the Shekhar Kapoor film, how you did not pursue it and then you learnt a lesson ki besharam hona achhi baat hai is profession mein. Do you want to elaborate a bit on that for, probably youngsters who are probably in a position that you were in at that time? And which film was that, if you could tell us?
I don't remember the name.
Okay.
Who was there in it? Meenakshi Shishadri? I don't know. I'll ask Shekhar. I'll ask it. Okay. I'll ask Shekhar ki kaun si film thi wo. Anyway, so yeah, so there is a proper, this is a business and there is a way to do this business. You have to be careful as a woman also that nobody takes advantage of you while you are pushing. You should also know how much you want to compromise, to what extent you want to go.
Right.
There's no judgment passed. Nobody judges you. Nobody knows about it. But you have to make a list. Like later on, people told me, you have to make a list. Okay. Now, though, on media, you can find out, even now, sometimes, even now, when I'm seeing the post, Twitter and Instagram posts, I see some people going there's a picture of this and this actor going in the car to this producer's office or this director's office. And I suddenly call up my manager and I say, देखो इसमें मेरे लिए कोई role है. Okay. So this is what happened now. But at that time, there was nothing. There was nothing. So you have to be very alert. You have to be very pushy, keeping your safety with you. And you have to push, because out of sight, out of mind. I'll give you another example, which I have not written in my book. So there is this person whom I knew. I had done a web series, very good writer, Ashwini, who did Office. Okay, very famous series. Then he did a beautiful series with me called On the Train. What's it called?
Lady Special.
Lady Special. He wrote. Then he wanted to make a film, and he left it because he wanted to make a film. So one day I just read somewhere that he's making a film in London. He's shooting in London, and उसमें ऐसा इसको लिया, and there was one part which was given to someone my age group. I am not taking names because उसका कुछ और मतलब बन जाता है. So I said, hey, he's worked with me. He likes my acting very much. And for the film, he's given somebody else the role. It was my age group role. I got very angry. And so I found, I had his number. Same number. I called him. He was in London. I said, Ashni, yaar, मेरे को रोल नहीं दिया, उसको दे दिया. Like that. He said, oh shit, ma'am, I just totally forgot. I didn't think of you. You were suited to that role. So this is what happens, you know. You sometimes your assistants and all will not remind the director कि अच्छा इसके लिए इसको ले सकते हैं. So it's very important to be seen. It's very easy now because of social media, but at that time it was not so easy. How will you be seen? What will you do to be seen?
आजकल तो जिम से बाहर आओ तो दिख जाते हो, एयरपोर्ट पे पहुंच जाओ तो दिख जाते हो.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of discussion around nepotism these days, but you know, I don't think that ever figured in the 80s. You know, though a lot of star sons were being launched, you know, Kumar Gaurav, Sunny Deol, Sanjay Dutt, star daughters, I guess, were not being launched at that time because there was no such practice. So did you ever have any inkling here, how are they getting this chance on a rose bed while I'm having to struggle it out? Were there any comparisons you were making at that time?
No, why should I make a comparison? If I work hard, if I work in the right direction, I'll get it. I've got it now. No? You get it.
Right.
Smita Patil got it at that time also. She was not somebody known's daughter or something.
Right.
So I do not listen to these theories. I am saying I have to work hard. I have to do the correct thing to reach somewhere, and I'll have to pursue it, and I'll get it. I got it very late because of my mistakes. But I don't think of these things.
Okay. Now, you know, you've written about that episode of getting the Hawkins ad and how for the first time you dealt with fame, you know, getting recognized. Hawkins ki seeti baji. I just want you to recollect how that feeling was of being recognized, of being probably spotted on the road and saying, hey, are you the Hawkins girl? And have you seen that ad recently?
I can't believe that one of my followers, he found that and he put it on Twitter.
Yeah, I also saw
the whole written, ma'am, your birthday gift. So sweet. I am so touched.
So sweet.
हॉकिंस की सीटी बजी खुशबू ही खुशबू उड़ी मजेदार लज्जतदार खाना है तैयार हाजी खाना है तैयार मुर्ग मुसल्लम टमेटो टोमेटो सूप, मटर पुलाव, माँ की दाल, खीरा, दम आलू, हर व्यंजन स्वादिष्ट बनाए, मिनटों में झटपट पकाए। हॉकिंस, हॉकिंस, हॉकिंस प्रेशर कुकर।
And yeah, I used to be very happy ki, oh, it has become such a big hit. But the point was, it became a hit, but I didn't have the money to go even in rickshaws at that time, you know. तो वो बस में जाना, ट्रेन में जाना, तो वो फेम तो मिला पर पैसा नहीं मिला.
Now, you've written about your brush with the casting couch, and it's quite terrifyingly written. Today, when actors in the industry were coming out like 3 years back during the MeToo, their stories, did you identify and could you relate to them and their struggles because of your experiences which you went through?
Yeah, I always saw them, and it was very brave of some of them to come out with that. I appreciate that, but I still feel that it's very difficult.
Okay.
You know, because there is no proof most of the time. Why this thing can happen is that because there is no proof.
Correct.
How will you prove?
Yeah.
You won't be able to prove it.
Right.
When I went to that guy's hotel, what is my proof that he did anything? He actually didn't do anything. So that was a different matter. But what he said to me, what is the proof? There's no proof.
Your word against his.
Yeah.
Because you've written very candidly about Vivian Richards and Masaba. But, I wanted to know about the media glare after Masaba's birth. You've written how you were very successful in keeping or hiding the pregnancy. You worked for Mirza Ghalib. Your friends were very supportive. But what happened after when the media stories came out? How was it? Did you read any? Was it bad, or did you read them later?
It was a very, very tough time for me. Very, very, very tough time for me. But having a child, having Masaba was such a great happiness and contentment that वो सब भूल जाती थी मैं. You know how
to keep away from all the film magazines?
Huh?
Did you consciously try to keep away from all the film magazines?
Film magazines देखने का time कहाँ मिलता था with a small child. So there was no time, but I don't run away like that. Sometimes I don't even fight. Fight करने के लिए भी तो correct fight होनी चाहिए ना. You have to fight a correct fight. You can't fight every fight. So it was very tough.
Okay. Now, you had a hugely successful stint in television, especially with SARS. And one day they just pulled the plug, and you've written about it quite honestly there. The main reason was because probably shows with a different kind of format, more in-your-face melodrama was what was working. Did you feel professionally betrayed in the way in which the termination was conveyed to you?
Yes, it was conveyed very badly to me, and it was something else was promised to me, and they did something else. And the way, see, I'm okay if my program is not doing well, and you promised me these many programs, and you want to remove, I'm okay because things change. If my program, but there is a decency. I have worked with you for years. I gave you the hittest program on television at that time. I've always been good to you. I treated you very well. What do I expect in return? To be treated properly. That's it. If you want, there is a way to say, ma'am, your thing is not working. So that was a very bad thing, which I didn't like. And then I realized that it was again my mistake because I thought this guy had become my friend, but he was not my friend.
Right.
I was their top director So he was very good to me. It was like that.
I want to talk about the Instagram post that you put up in 2017. I'm a good actor looking for good parts to play. What was the state of your mind before you put that post and immediately after? Did you have a second thought ki, oh my God, should I delete this?
No. So I'll tell you what happened, that I was not getting work for some time, and I used to wonder why no good offers are coming. And then I realized after a few people asked me, Arey, when did you come to Bombay? Because people thought after marriage, because my husband is from Delhi, that I had shifted to Delhi and I don't work anymore. So that day when I wrote this, I had gone to meet Zoya Akhtar in her house for a role. And her assistant met me outside and she says, when did you come to Bombay? So, and that did it. And then I came back. I was so frustrated. I said, this is why I'm not getting work. And I wrote it. And then after writing it, I didn't even know how to delete, because I didn't know, I'm not very net savvy even till today. I said, सबसे पहले तो Masaba मेरी band बजाएगी. How dare you do this kind of a thing? And then suddenly after some time I saw Masaba's this emotional thing. And then suddenly people started messaging me very emotionally and all. And I don't know. I mean, I just did it because of this reason.
And, Badhaai Ho came after. And I want you to tell us, when did you know that Badhaai Ho was such a big hit for you? As in, was it when the reviews came out? Was it when people probably gave you feedback after previews? Or was it when you got messages after, friends and family saw the film?
I think all of it together. We knew it was a great film, but I mean, I never expected it will change my life, my career. It is that one break I always looked for so many years, which I never got. And it was, till now, sometimes I feel it's a dream that will happen. Am I dreaming that has happened? And like even till today, people have seen it so many times, and every time we cry, every time we smile, every time. So ये शायद भगवान ने सोचा कि बहुत तकलीफ दिया, बच्चे को कुछ अच्छा काम दे दो. So this is what I feel.
Is there any one feedback memorable which has stayed in your mind, maybe from an industry person or from a family member or anybody, a stranger?
For this film or generally?
For this film.
Lots. I can't remember now. What I remember that only I used to remember after seeing the film, then even during the shooting of the film and this thing, Ayushman used to joke with me all the time, with me and Gajraji, that अरे हम तो side actor हैं, असल hero heroine तो तुम हो picture के. तो I used to say, नहीं यार, what are you talking? What rubbish are you talking? I never thought like that, but I still remember him saying that.
Okay. Now, Neena ji, the media has always portrayed you as this independent, rebel woman. And in your book, you've been so candid and honest, saying that you're a woman who always had self-doubts about yourself. Were there times when you looked at something written about you and said, are they talking about me?
Yeah. So many times. You don't know what lies people have written about me. When I was just very, very young here, I mean, very new here, I remember I have said this to other people also. Things like they wrote in some film magazine that Neena Gupta is working as a sales girl in Shah Mahuja shop.
Okay.
Believe me, I did not know who is Shah Mahuja at that time, because we couldn't afford Shah Mahuja. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not know who he is. So I asked my friends, I said, ये कौन है? Shah Mahuja कौन है? बोले वो उनका वो carpet और उसका दुकान है. Why I was working? unbelievable.
Okay.
My fault. I feed them that. No?
Now, Neena ji, my last question to you is, if you could give a piece of advice to yourself when you were 18-year-old, a piece of advice to 18-year-old Neena Gupta, what would it be?
Focus on your work. Don't focus on men.
I think that's an absolutely delightful note to end this interview.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So much. I had a great time reading your book, and I have a lovely time watching your films, and I hope to watch a lot more.
Oh, thank you so much.
We are truthful, unafraid, and independent because of you. Now you can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click Become a Member tab, choose a plan, and pay. Because the truth is worth it.